I'm Reed Collins. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. A hypnotic rhythmic chant of 16 words has replaced LSD and other drugs for some in New York's East Village. On 2nd Avenue and 1st Street is a storefront in which a Swami has set up shop. There, his American disciples are learning about Krishna consciousness.
Someone told you the story, you wouldn't believe it. Here he is. He's 70 years old. He has no money. He has no contacts. He has none of the things that makes for success. He's starting an effort, and it turns into an international movement.
I want to bring in one revolution against materialistic civilization. That is my ambition, so that the whole world may be happy.
Prabhupada came to America in an extraordinary time.
All we say to America is be true to what you said on paper.
Everyone was questioning. Everyone was searching for a better way of life.
Turn on, tune in, drop out.
Timothy Leary came along with the drug bandwagon, but that wasn't good enough. We wanted an alternate reality that wasn't drug-induced.
And suddenly this new force from the East was coming in. People began to look towards India.
There was a sense in us that ancients
Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste. What he printed himself. And he has set up another standard process of giving Srimad Bhagavatam to the top executives, people of the country. In 1964 itself, he has given Srimad Bhagavatam in 1964 to Sri Lal Bahadur Shastri.
He was a person that seemed to be experiencing a state of happiness that came from some place that they knew nothing about and never had any access to.
Or even encourage the people down to him. So the mission of giving the Bhagavatam has started 5,000 years ago, and again in the new era in 1964 it started, and now the commanders and soldiers of Srila Prabhupada are making an attempt to bring about the great secret which has kept in the Srimad Bhagavatam. What it is saying that Praustapadyam Paurnamasyam Hema Simha Samanvitam Dadati Yo. This is the secret mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam in the 13th chapter, in the 12th canto, 13th chapter. It is clearly mentioned in this sloka, which is the basis for this Bhadradana Yajna, which says that on the full moon day of Bhadra month, on the full moon day of Bhadra month, and one who places the Srimad Bhagavatam on a golden throne and then he gives as a gift, then he will attain the supreme transcendental destination. It is very clearly mentioned in this, and this is a secret which is hidden in the last canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And the organizer of this Bhadradana Yajna really bringing this secret out. It is very clearly mentioned, Dadati Yaha. Yaha means who, Saha means that person. The person who gives Srimad Bhagavatam on this Bhadra Purnima, and not only just giving away as a casual, no, it with all attention, means one who keeps the Srimad Bhagavatam on a golden throne and then gives with all attention, with all reverence, then he will certainly Sayati, means Sayati Paramam Gatim, that person will go to the spiritual abode. This great secret is being brought by the organizers with the slogan of Go to Goloka, and also the Bhadradana Bhadra Purnima Yajna. And I am really blessed by the Srila Prabhupada and also Guru
office to another.
This Telugu Bhagavatam was translated by me. It is the blessing of Srila Prabhupada, Guru Gauranga, and also I am blessed by the team of the organizers of Go to Goloka for speaking on the Srimad Bhagavatam for few minutes. Let us make now all together jointly the mission of Srila Prabhupada spreading the Srimad Bhagavatam all over the world. Let us join together and spread Srimad Bhagavatam all over the world. Let there be Bhagavatam set in everybody's house one day or other. Then the Srila Vyasadeva's mission, let Nisreyasaya Lokasya, and it is ultimate for the ultimate benefit of the human beings. And Srila Prabhupada's mission also of the India's message of peace and goodwill get established. And then the Lords and the Supreme Lord and the Acharya get pleased, and then will become very happy and will become the part of that success story and a happy family. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
You have to imagine what it must have been like for him growing up in the 19th century in colonial India. The image of America was what was presented in Life magazine of this monstrous industrialized nation, rugged individualism and questioning authority. To think about bringing a message of self-control, of minimizing needs, of love for Krishna, love for God, must have been daunting. And yet that's what he had to do. Having been requested by his guru, go to the West and speak Krishna's message in the English language, spread this teaching around the world.
Some of my books, Srimad Bhagavatam, and I was personally selling these books to the booksellers with great difficulty. New York is a very expensive city, but I'm not mad. The whole stock and my typewriter, my telegraph, everything was stolen. In this way, I become very much depressed. And I was going to the shipping company when the next ship is going to India.
He did it 2 or 3 times. The clerk at the shipping counter, he asked him, well, Swamiji, you keep asking when the boat's going back, but you never actually go.
I am not very much hopeful that I wrote one poetry, because now you have brought me in this country. What can I do? But because you have brought me here, must be there is some purpose. All right, make me dance as you like.
Traditionally, Swami's yogis, Zen masters all moved uptown to the rich and were sponsored and funded by the rich, and you would find Krishnamurti living in elegant apartments on the Upper East Side with drawing rooms and French furniture, And here was Bhaktivedanta, like in the depths of Calcutta, where the hippies were, and where the acid heads were, and the freaks and the amphetamine heads and the meth monsters. So it seemed like he was actually bringing some kind of ray of song and light to the right place, the lower depths where it was needed.
Rather than being a hippie, I was more of a seeker, a spiritual seeker, because I didn't have long hair and I didn't really identify with the alternative and revolutionary movement. But there was something inside me that was searching for something else. The way I first met Prabhupada was I was on a crosstown bus in Manhattan on Grand Street and ran into a person that I knew. And this person on a scrap piece of paper gave me an address and he said, "This is the address of an Indian Swami. He's lecturing 3 times a week and I think you should go there." When I first met Prabhupada, I was very impressed with the fact that he was elderly and that he was very learned and that he was alone. And that made me feel like I really had to help.
I was wandering in the street and some of the boys saw me and gradually they came to me.
Then I asked Mukunda to find an apartment.
I went to the newsstand that carries the Village Voice and I saw an advertisement for 26 2nd Avenue.
There had been a gift shop, Matchless Gifts. They were going to take the sign off the window after he told them, no, this is what we have is Matchless Gifts.
There was usually not more than about 7 or 8 people there. And some of them were seekers and hippies and others were just coming to pick up on the vibes. And it was just kind of a motley assortment of people.
I just came in and I was tired and they said, "If you're tired, go to sleep and lay down here."
You mean it's the first day? One thing which usually happens, those who come like this, they come and they just never go. Once you come, you stay. Because the Swami has something which you are looking for.
They haven't got that peace and of mind or peace of the world which they are anchoring.
We thought that Prabhupada was a sincere person, devoid of hypocrisy, which people, especially young people, really do not like. And we didn't see any evidence of hypocritical teachings in anything that Prabhupada taught or anything that was part of his persona.
The marvelous thing about Prabhupada was that he was so, no other word but loving. He accepted them, he welcomed them into the temple.
Plus, he could cook like nobody's business. You know, the food was a slam dunk.
They came for love feast. And every Sunday I was giving nice food stuff, at least to 100 men. And daily at least 15, 20. I was cooking myself.
So not only was it delicious and healthy, but it would be something even sacred.
In the Gita, Krishna has told us what he wants us to eat, namely fresh fruits and grains. And so we have a very delicious meal here. It's very cheap. It goes a long way. It's quite easy to prepare. And we have a lot of fun.
When the first love feast occurred in the Bowery, Prabhupada's demeanor was as a very affable and happy host. And he seemed to always be smiling and encouraging people to take more and more and more and more. He was like a friend, and he was giving a party, and it was his party, and he just wanted everyone to be happy.
Prabhupada standing in line for the bathroom with the young men and serving them and washing the pots until someone finally asked after some time, "Maybe we could help you?"
He put up with no nonsense, but he didn't expect them to be perfect. He expected them, if they wanted to stay, to make some effort.
We're here to learn, and that's what we're doing. And we also, we have jobs to perform. We recently purchased a couple of mimeograph machines, and that's helping our printing.
Most of my students, they were under the spell of this LSD, but they are given up everything. They don't eat meat, they don't want wine, they don't want cigarettes, nothing.
Prabhupada Lay down the law. If you really want to progress in spiritual life, this is the bare minimum. Live a clean life. Chant every day, and you'll see the results.
My mission is to preach the philosophy of chanting Hare Krishna. This transcendental vibration is equally appealing to everyone without any question of language, nationality, creed, or caste, because it is coming forth from the depth of the soul.
The first thing they did for us was give us our method of chant, which is so powerful that it will work for anyone.
If I meditated on the word Raymond, 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 that wouldn't be the same at all. The word Krishna is God.
You're singing, you're dancing, your mind is fully engaged in thinking about God. What more can there be? This is the full aim of any kind of yoga.
Anyone who chants Hare Krishna, have you got the whole chant?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Some of the drug followers, they are functioning high on a low level, and we are functioning high, and we are functioning low on a high level. You get that? They're functioning high. They're this feeling, this sensual.
We had no idea about anything. Looking back at what we were, and the kinds of people that Prabhupada was trying to spread this movement through, I mean, we were a sorry bunch.
There was some arrangement for my going to England after my college education to become barrister. My father refused, no. My father wanted me to become like this. Know everything, what is going on. He never wanted me to be a worldly man, earning money. He never wanted. We were sleeping, father was doing arati. Ting, ting, ting. Puja was his main business.
I requested my father, Father, give me this deity I shall worship. So father purchased for me little Krishna, Radha, and I was imitating.
We are taught that the grain of rice is not man-made. It is sent by God. It is God's mercy. This is not comfort.
Historically, India is a place where it was the normal life for everyone to live in harmony with God's will. It was a culture where the focus of everything was so much in devotion to Krishna.
That spiritual culture of India acknowledges that throughout history, humanity has always needed spiritual revival at different moments. 500 years ago, the pioneer of Krishna devotion, the great teacher, Sri Chaitanya, appeared into the troubled world of 1500s India.
The movement of Sri Chaitanya was a movement of sacred sound, and people would gather in the street and they would sing and dance.
Chaitanya decided to take his bhakti movement, his devotional movement, to all the corners of India. He had inspired thousands, if not millions of people to take up the chanting of the holy names of Krishna.
And people were trying to understand, well, what is this revolution for? It was for equality of the soul, to understand that we are not these bodies, and that we are all brothers and sisters, children of God. Wherever there's life, there is sacredness.
And in Sankirtan, all people, Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Parsi, everyone joined. And they're going street to street entering in every house. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doesn't say that you chant simply Krishna's name. If you have got your own God, and if you know his name and address, then you chant his name.
Then Prabhupada did something unusual for America. He decided it was time to take the chanting and the music and the dancing out onto the streets as Chaitanya had done 500 years earlier.
They had never seen anything like him before. He was a phenomenon that they had never encountered.
He looked like the Prime Minister of the galaxy.
He was sort of forbidding looking, but when he left, he just took in the world. He was oceanic, and you just couldn't help laughing too.
He didn't even have a proper drum or anything. He would just, whatever he had, just bonk on it just to make a little sound to keep the rhythm. But he had the name. He chanted with so much faith that it just drew a universe of people to him.
At first I heard the cymbals, the hand cymbals, and I started to follow the sound until I found where they were chanting, and I was struck with wonder that this is extraordinary. This means I don't have to go to India to get a mantra. Here are these ecstatic monks bringing the mantra to me for free.
Reciting the names of Krishna is a tradition that goes far back in India as a way, when recited repetitively with deep spirituality, pulls you into the sphere of Krishna himself.
He understood what could happen if the chanting of Hare Krishna made its appearance on a world stage.
If they take to these chanting, transcendental vibration, the mind will be clear, and they see their actual identity.
It's a cleansing of the collective consciousness of society that can unleash all kinds of amazing transformations.
The New York Times took a photograph. The caption was, "Swami's flock finds ecstasy in the park." Prabhupada said the Times of New York was the most important newspaper in the world. This article marked the beginning of my movement.
He asked me about my life, and I told him I had traveled all over Europe. He looked at me and he said, "Oh, you're so young and you've traveled so much?" And I said, "Yes, Swamiji, but none of it made me happy." And he burst into a beautiful smile and said, "Ah, yes, that is required."
I am very glad that Krishna has sent nice boys and girls to help me. I don't blame the hippies. They're disappointed in the modern system of education. They are searching after something sublime.
The thing that's extraordinary about the 60s is that there were so many things being thrown into question. The world's in a desperate place. We're destroying the planet. We're destroying one another. There has to be some other solution.
As a young man, Srila Prabhupada was looking for that. He was a Gandhian.
I was a student of Gandhi. In 1920, I joined the non-cooperation movement.
Prabhupada had been attracted to Gandhi's movement because it was a nonviolent demonstration of protest against circumstances that were intolerable. But something happens when he meets his spiritual master, and he's reminded that there's another kind of revolution going on that's much more important, for a higher purpose, not a political end, but a spiritual end.
In 1922, I was taken to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati by one of my friends.
Everything about Bhaktisiddhanta spoke to his spiritual gravitas.
He comes from a line of spiritual teachers that goes back more than 5,000 years.
Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's core message was, you are the soul. The consciousness animating the body with life. And what is the nature of that life? It's eternal. It's fully self-aware and joyful, blissful.
He said, why don't you preach this message in the Western countries?
This was a very ambitious thought, and Prabhupada understood how ambitious it was.
I talked with him, who will hear your message. We are dependent country, subjugated. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati refuted my argument. This so-called nationalism or anyism, they are all temporary. The real need is self-realization.
That's a universal message, and it's meant to be shared with the rest of the world.
I was so much struck with wonder, I could understand that here is the proper person who can give a real religious idea.
What is an epiphany? What happens that something completely transforms a life?
I would have immediately joined, but now I'm married. So many responsibilities, it will be injustice. But I accepted him as my spiritual master in my heart. At that time, I was running my big pharmacy. I was a very well-known man as the proprietor of the pharmacy. My business was flourishing.
Then there's another more urgent request from his guru, this time in the form of a letter.
Try to preach whatever you have learned from me to people in English. That will do good to you and to the people to whom he shall preach. That is my instruction. And then he passed away in 1936.
The stakes were now raised. Energies would become even more focused on making it happen one way or another, as impossible as it was.
I started Back to Godhead magazine, 1944, on the birthday of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati.
The articles that he wrote analyzed how human greed had led to World War II, how conflict between peoples and between nations can be traced back to spiritual ignorance.
The fought, and so many died. And after death, there was no distinction who is Hindu or who is Muslim. The municipal men, they gathered together in piles to throw them somewhere. Sometimes I was dreaming. My spiritual master, he is calling me, and I was falling.
His children were grown and in school or married, and it was time.
He finally accepted the sannyas order.
Baba. Baba means father. I am his son, he is my father. And I'm the last child of Prabhupada. Youngest and last. He was a man of personality and dignity. I was stunned and I was shocked at that time when I heard it, that my father is leaving.
He advised me, please take care of your mother and your family.
Going to Vrindavan was a way of harnessing energies. He's there contemplating what's needed to bring Krishna to the world.
This is very much a part of the Indian culture from ancient times. At the end of life, one will focus on the most important work of life, realizing who I am in relationship with the divine person.
It was an intense period of writing, getting those first 3 books of the Srimad Bhagavatam published.
He was able to synthesize a vast library of Sanskrit wisdom texts down to their essence and transpose that into a language that people of the 20th and 21st centuries can understand.
In this one text, the entire expanse of creation is described.
This book has the potential to lead a revolution in consciousness, which he felt was the need of the hour.
So after publishing 3 parts, then Guru Maharaj gave me indication, and then now you can start forever. Up till now, nothing has been done. So let me try at least. It is better late than never.
He said that he would like to go to America. I was surprised. I said, Swamiji, don't go there. You are too old to go, and it will be too cold for you.
I said, are you crazy? The old man, you are going to die. Who will look after you? What will you do then?
Still he insisted. So I said, all right. So I made arrangement for him to go by Jaladuta.
So we're talking with Swami A.C. Bhaktivedanta.
Hello, Swamiji?
Yes.
What is the perfection of this life?
The perfection of this life is to understand oneself, what I am. This is the beginning. Why I am suffering. If there is any solution of this suffering.
So, know yourself.
Yes.
Know yourself.
Yes.
Do you know the Hare Krishna chant? No, go ahead. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
We were getting a lot of publicity. Alan Coleman came, wanted to make the record. There was a station, WBAI, alternative radio, the top show for interesting talk and alternative music. And one night, he played the record nonstop from 10 o'clock at night to 6 in the morning.
Part of the radicalness of Prabhupada's mission was really upsetting the social apple cart by sending students into the streets to chant and dance. That's not considered normal behavior. And yet, it's gripping. You can't remain indifferent.
We used to make these leaflets called Stay High Forever. People really got a kick out of those. People would look at that and say, wow, he is high. He's so high, he's trying to keep himself down just from the mantra.
More and more, these young Americans, they came to me. Then I registered this Krishna Consciousness Society in 1966.
If you can think about what you might call chutzpah, this was incredible. Incorporating an international society when you're living out of a storefront and you have no resources whatsoever. They didn't have any idea what he was doing, and he assured them, well, this is what we're going to be.
And he would turn the globe, and he was studying all the countries of the world. And sometimes he would say, Brahmananda, you shall go to Russia. Gaursunder, you go to Japan. And his plan was to send people all over the world. But you have to realize, we only had about 12 teenagers.
So he was looking into the eyes of each one of us, saying, I want each one of you to open a temple somewhere. And at that time, I was so young and so impetuous. And I was only 16 years old. And I just said, even the girls? Prabhupada looked at me and he said, there is no difference